Hey there guys, John Campea here. Thank you for visiting my movie vlog. Now, whenever we have a situation where there's a highly anticipated movie coming out, one of the phrases we always hear thrown around is, when's the review embargo? Sometimes embargoes are looked at negatively, but sometimes, like this week, we had news come out that the review embargo for Thor Ragnarok was going to be lifted 2 full weeks before the movie, and that's exciting. Understandably, I've had a lot of people over the years write to me and ask me 2 basic questions. Question number 1. What is a review embargo? Question number 2 then becomes, why do studios even use review embargoes? Are they necessary? All right, so let's get the easy part out of the way. The first question, what is a review embargo? Basically speaking, a review embargo is an agreement between the studio and a film critic. The studio says, we'll let you see this movie early. However, by accepting watching the movie early, you agree that you won't release your review of the film until X date. That X date becomes the review embargo. Just as an example, let's say there was a brand new Spider-Man film coming out on December 1st. All right, the studios say to the film critics, hey, we're going to have a screening on November 15th, 2 weeks before the movie comes out. We are inviting you to come and watch the movie. However, by watching this movie, you agree to not release any reviews until at least November 22nd, a full week later. That November 22nd date now becomes the embargo date. You do see it on the 15th, but you agree not to put out your review until the 22nd. That's the embargo. Some people have asked me, can the studio really stop you from reviewing it before the embargo date? Legally, there's no ramifications, except for the fact that if you go ahead and break a studio's embargo, they're never going to invite you to watch a movie in advance again. All right, now that we've dealt with the question about what is an embargo, and a lot of you guys already knew what it was, the second question seems to be the more controversial one. Why on earth do studios even have embargoes? Like if a critic has seen a movie, why not just let the critic tell people what they thought about the movie? Now, I've talked to a lot of studio publicists over the years about this very question, and basically there's no one answer. There's actually several reasons why studios use embargoes, and depending on the circumstances, that'll affect which reason they employ. Reason that studios use embargoes, number 1, for fairness and coordination. Back in the 1970s and even the 1980s, and maybe even in the early 1990s, it didn't really matter if, say, one critic in Chicago was able to put up his review a little bit early than, say, some critic in Los Angeles was able to put up hers, because there wasn't this little thing called the internet. We didn't have these global communication devices in all of our pockets. So today, if somebody puts up a review in Chicago, everybody across the nation knows about it. Back then, it used to be a little more localized. Today, those studios have to be aware of being fair to critics in New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Boston, Detroit, all across the country, and sometimes even all across the world. If you're a studio, you don't want to make it look like you're letting the critics in Chicago put up their reviews before the people in, say, Baltimore. You want everybody to be playing on the same even playing field. But what that means is that if everybody was allowed to just put out the review as soon as they saw the movie, you would have a nightmare situation where you would have to coordinate in every major city across the country that you had a press screening on the exact same day at the exact same time. That's the only way to be fair. From a coordination point of view, that's nearly impossible. What a review embargo does is it gives the studios a tool that says, okay, we can have a screening in Chicago on this day, and a screening in Los Angeles on this day, and a screening in Buffalo on this day. It doesn't really matter because we have a review embargo that they all have to hold their reviews until. That means even if we can't coordinate having press screenings in every single city on the exact same day, nobody's going to be allowed to put out their reviews before anybody else. They're all still on the same even playing field because we've got a review embargo date. The second big reason studios use review embargoes is for the sake of their marketing strategy. Studios pay a hell of a lot of money in knowing exactly when to release trailers, where to release trailers, when to put up billboards, and when to let the reviews get released. There's a science and an art to marketing strategies, but basically speaking, studios don't want reviews to come out too early, even if they're good reviews, because they don't want to blow their proverbial loads too soon. If you have all this great word of mouth coming out, but then you don't have another 3 weeks before the movie comes out, some of that positive energy momentum may die off and you won't get the full effect of it. So studios employ review embargoes. They know that, hey, the reviews of this will be pretty good. Let's have the reviews come out 5 days before the movie release so we can ride that momentum and that wave to maximize the effect on the box office returns for opening weekend. Reason number 3 studios will employ review embargoes? Well, sometimes this happens when they want to hide the reviews. Not every movie is going to be great, great. The studios know that sometimes they have bad movies on their hands, and when they do, they don't want the word of mouth to get out there too early that their movie actually stinks. So what you'll see is that review embargoes will be placed to like 1 day before the movie comes out, or 2 days before the movie comes out. And to be fair, that's actually kind of a smart strategy. Now, to add to all of this confusion, there's another layer that we have to look at, which is there are actually now 2 different types of embargoes. Number 1, a regular review embargo. But now there's a review embargo called a social media embargo. You see, sometimes, like in the case of Thor Ragnarok, the studio will say to the critics, hey, there's a review embargo until October 19th. That means you can't release your written review or your video review or your audio review of this movie until the 19th. However, there is no social media embargo. What a studio is basically saying with that is that, hey, hold off on your reviews until that date, but feel free to jump on Twitter and give your quick thoughts that you liked the movie or didn't like the movie or whatever. Feel free to jump on social media and give a quick thought. So while there are no official reviews of Thor Ragnarok out right now, there are tons of tweets out there from film critics saying, saw Thor Ragnarok, it's amazing, it's fun, just short little things like that. Now, of course, some people have tried to take advantage of that by putting together 25 tweets to basically write out a review. Studios have jumped down on that though. So there you have it, guys, some quick ideas about what a review embargo is and the different reasons why a studio might use them. If you have any other questions or any other thoughts or any other insights about review embargoes, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts. Make sure you click that thumbs up button. And while you're here, why don't you take a second and click on the subscribe button, become a subscriber to my YouTube channel. That'll do it for me, guys. Thanks a lot for joining me, and until the next video, bye-bye.